I would like to take a moment to talk about the difference between x squared and 2 to the x. As we have just discovered exponential functions and how suddenly the x, our variable, appears in the exponent. And I would like to take a minute to just kind of see how that looks in action, especially as we're putting in different kinds of x. So let me make a table for each of them where we find our x and then the result of x squared and 2 to the x. So let's take a few x and see what happens as we plug them in. So if I start with x equals 1, then I get 1 squared, which equals 1. Then I have 2, and I get 2 squared, and that equals 4. And so I keep plugging in a few different values for x and see how the numbers change. So 3 squared was 9, and now we are on 4 squared, and that is 16. And we're going to take one more for 5. 5 squared equals 25. Now let's see how that looks when we do 2 to the x. So now we have again our x is 1, but our base now is 2. So we have, and our 1 is in the exponent, so that is 2 to the 1 power, which is 2. And then we have 2 to the second power, that is 2 to the second power, that is the same as on the other side is 4. However, now we are coming to 2 to the 2. Now we are coming to 3, and so that is 2 to the third power, which is 8. So that's different. And then 4. So now we are at 2 to the fourth power, and here we are sharing again the value, that is 16. However, now we are getting to 5, and it will never be the same value again. So that is 2 to the fifth is now 32. So as this is happening, as we are continuing to go up, what changes? So on the exponential expression, so 2 to the x, every time it doubles, because every time we are getting multiplied by another 2. So if I get 2 to the 6 now, that will be 64. On the other side, however, when we have 6, we get 6 squared. So what happens is we do 6 times 6, which is 36. And you will find that after a while, the numbers on the right side will vastly outpace the numbers on the left side. So I'm going to go 1 or 2 more. So 2 to the 7th is 128. And versus 7 is 7, I know, because 7 squared is simply 7 times 7, 49. And let's do one last one. 8 squared is 64, while here when we have 8, we're actually getting 2 to the 8th power, which is 256. So you see, in the beginning they kind of are around the same numbers, and then suddenly 2 to the x power just really starts steeply increasing, because every time you multiply by another 2, that means you double. Every time then you multiply it gets doubled again and again and again, absolutely outpacing the x squared. And we will then later on, as we're introducing logarithms in one of the next videos, we will actually then see what else is different between the two kinds, and how we have to have a very different strategy to solve any equations that contains either like an x square or an exponential expression like 2 to the x, for instance.